1, 2, 3, go.
I'm the guy who invented the thing that's gonna take us out of this place. If you could read my mind, you would know what kind of pajamas I want when it comes to bedtime. Footy, 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 footy pajamas. Footy, 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 footy pajamas. Footy, 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 footy pajamas. They let me be what I want to be.
This is Let Me Pitch This To You, the Idea Podcast, with your host and co-host, Marcus Knipp and Ian Lund.
I'm your host.
I'm your co-host.
Suck it.
But I'm Marcus. That's Ian.
Frick. Sorry.
All right, so this is episode, this is 14. We're episode 14, guys. So this is another grab bag episode. We've had various episodes where...
Because Ian didn't come up with anything.
We've had various episodes where we've had you guys send in ideas. We put them into a hat, so to speak. It's really a Word doc on the computer. And we roll a number, and then we just kind of try to riff off that idea. So that's what we're doing this episode. Do you have anything to add, Marcus?
I'm not going to talk as much as usual because I feel like garbage dumpster trash.
Fair enough. So let's jump right into Matt's Majestic Mind from last episode.
Or, as I'm going to call it,
That's a Relient K album.
No, that's
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
Subtle.
So, Matt's Majestic Mind. Matt says, Marcus's idea reminds me a bit of the movie That Thing You Do, about this one-hit wonder band from the 60s. I do think that as a show, you'd get a lot of room for the characters to breathe, and a modern setting would suit this really well. The problem you would have is that if you decide to make the group perform songs from a relatively unpopular genre of music, then you immediately cut off a large portion of your audience. That being said, it sounds like you can make up for that with various teen drama scenarios.
Oh, heck yeah.
Ian's idea is interesting as well, and it's been done quite a few times.
Suck it.
Well, I said that I'm pretty sure it's been done. I just thought it was a neat idea. Apartment Pupil, I don't know, the Odessa File, The Boys from Brazil, etc.
And then he said 1,800 more things.
That being said,
Ian's story is dumb and creatively bankrupt.
All right, let me finish reading Matt's Majestic
Sorry.
Mind. No, you're good, you're good. You're not Matt. I'm sorry. Neither of us are. I'm not aware of anywhere the Nazis are hiding out in Russia, so that could be interesting. Ultimately, though, I don't think there's much of an audience for it. It's basically impossible to portray Nazi as anything but ridiculously evil villains. This is mostly because they were actually ridiculously evil villains, which is fair. I did say that it would be about them being bad, but from their side, kind of, like about the villains. So attempting to use them as your protagonists is problematic. You mentioned Breaking Bad as an example, so essentially I'm saying it's easier to get people to root for a lying, semi-sociopathic drug dealer than a Nazi, which, as it should be. And then there were some technical issues Matt commented about, because someone forgot to do the timestamps.
I don't remember
not
that.
me, so...
I
Anyway.
don't understand why I didn't get them done, because I did listen to the podcast and write down the timestamps. And I don't know why they're not up there, because I'm almost positive that I did it. But I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. To be fair, I didn't get it up in time either, because I just had a long week. So that's Matt's Majestic Mind, or M&M. So
M
let's...
squared?
Yeah. No, it'd be M cubed.
I hate you.
It's
Why are you going to put me on blast on the internet like that every time?
What? I'm going through every episode because I'm so much smarter than you.
You remember how when I used to say, this is my Instagram name, and you'd be like, wait, isn't that your email address? And then you tell everybody my email address?
I looked at it. I checked it, and it is actually your Instagram name.
Yeah, I know.
It is. So I was right. Anyway, let's get into...
Thanks for announcing my email address on the podcast, Ian. Really appreciate it.
I actually didn't say it this time, so...
It's fine.
Let's jump into the grab bags.
You have to roll your dice.
Yeah. All right. We got this fancy new dice here Marcus got. I got a 15.
I don't even know if we have 15 submissions. Nope, gotta roll again. We only have 14.
14. What do you know?
I'm going with this one, because this is actually the one we did last time.
We've already done that one.
This one?
14?
Yeah, but we're doing 13 instead.
Okay.
I'll send it to you. And then roll again for mine.
Alright, Marcus's is 8. Or no, excuse me, 6. That's hard to read.
Well, yeah, and 8s and 6s are notoriously known for being so much alike. Sent in by Matt. Frick.
Matt.
Mac isn't sending anything in. Sent in by Matt, and this would be a movie or a book, or both.
Alright.
Sorry. This starts off with two ghost-like wraith figures with swords and trench coats. One all in white and the other in all black, walking towards each other in a field of wheat in this cloudy semi-darkness. The white one has lightning all across the horizon behind him, and electricity sparking off of his fingertips and into the wheat. The black one has smoke rolling off of him, and everywhere he steps, the wheat ignites into flames, and there's this trail of fire behind him, where he's been walking in the field. That's just expanding out like a wake from a ship. Okay. And when they reach each other in the middle, there's this huge lightning strike and this explosion of fire and smoke. Then we jump to a bounty hunter named Deacon that's tracking this other guy named Bishop through a warehouse. The bounty hunter is just emptying clip after clip into this guy, and eventually we see the other guy just floating in midair, and he shows off these fangs, indicating that he's a vampire. A vampire,
Right.
Sorry.
Alright.
I misread that. Then we jump back to an Old Testament times, and we see the horde of barbarians that are trying to attack Abraham. Right after he rescues Lot from the 5 kings, and he's paying homage to Melchizedek. There we go.
Alright.
And the second in command of this horde is a vampire that we saw in the previous scene, and he is essentially gets cursed by God to be a vampire for threatening Abraham.
Okay.
Holy crap, my throat hurts. Then we get a scene where the bounty hunter is walking through the halls of an apartment building with an idling chainsaw until he comes to the right door, and he cuts the lock off the door and then charges in. The vampire is standing on the ceiling right behind the door, and they have a chainsaw/sword fight with the vampire dancing in the ceiling while the bounty hunter is swinging at him from the floor. Now, Matt, do we literally mean dancing?
I think he means kind of more.
I know what he means.
Yeah.
Thanks for laughing at my great joke, Ian. I really appreciate it.
Ha ha. All right, keep going.
Finally, the
That
bounty
sounds
hunter
interesting.
jumps out of the window. Why do you say it sounds interesting? You've read all of these.
I actually have not read all of them. I've read some of them.
My name is Ian, and I'm a huge slacker, and I don't read all of our fan submissions.
No, I'm sure I've read this one, but I don't really remember it. So.
Cool. Finally, the bounty hunter jumps out of the window, and we see he's 20 to 30 stories up. Then the vampire holds out his hand, and the bounty hunter just kind of freezes in midair amidst the slowly spanning shards of glass, and slowly gets pulled back through the opening. Then we jump to this guy that's working the night shift in the freezer section of a grocery store, and he's bored out of his mind, but he keeps seeing these fleeting figures out of the corner of his mind that look like the two rays from the first scene. And then a lion jumps out of the freezer and starts attacking the customers, and the clerk is running for his life until the vampire and the bounty hunter burst in, and the bounty hunter is shooting up the whole place. with a sawed-off shotgun. The vampire guts the lion with a sword. Eventually, we figure out that all of this is in a dream in the store clerk's mind. He manages to get everyone together and figures out all of these folks are connected through the layout of chess set in the hierarchy of the Roman Catholic Church. Pope equals king equals clerk. The cardinal equals rook equals wraith. Vampire equals bishop equals bishop. The bounty hunter equals knight equals deacon. And they debate about who the queen is and who the actual players are, which is when they decide that this is a dream and whoever is doing the dreaming is the player of the chess set.
Huh.
At the end, they decide they need to find the player within the dream and kill him in order to ascend to the real world. The whole thing will end with Bishop, or the vampire, biting the dreamer. The dreamer wakes up, looks in a mirror, and sees he has fangs.
Wow.
Yeah, Matt
that's
sent us a short book that I just
think
struggled
that's
through.
better writing than either of us have done on the entire show.
Well, Ian, you can't tell and let people know that, or they'll start pushing for Matt to be on our show more
That's true.
and kicking us off.
I'm just saying Matt's a good person to be following the show. So that's really intriguing.
Ian, riff off of that while I cry and let my throat rest.
I don't know. So I guess, like, is it going to take place more like within the dream, or is it going to also take place outside of the dream? Like it says the dreamer wakes up and sees he has fangs. So clearly there is this mythical world outside of the dream world. It just kind of intrigues me, like, where would you go with that? Do you have any comments?
I think, personally, it ends when he realizes he's a vampire. Right?
Yeah.
Like, we don't do anything else in the real world besides...
He realizes he's a vampire.
Yes. Everything else takes place in this fake world.
Yeah.
I think it's more interesting to discuss the logistics of the fake world and how is it actually fake if the consequences of the vampire biting him turns him into a real vampire.
Yeah,
What is
for
this?
sure.
What is the dream world? How do you want to explain that?
Well, the dream world is his mind, but
But is it his mind? Because something that happened in that took effect in real life.
so the dream world would be like the best thing I can think of is like a Narnia type world, like you step through a door and you're in an alternate reality type of thing. Only through this, the doorway is your dream. Like I could see something like
You
that.
could do like astral projection, like from Doctor Strange,
Okay.
or I think there's a horror movie called I think it's Insidious, where that kind of happens.
Yeah.
You like fall asleep and some people can kind of like leave their bodies and walk around in like a ghost world.
I think I've heard of that. I've never seen that movie, but that sounds
neither.
really familiar.
I mean, it's not too far-fetched. I mean, or like, hey, frickin' the Circle Trilogy by Ted Dekker, wicked good book series, I recommend.
Yeah.
Every time he falls asleep or gets killed, in one world, he wakes up in the other.
Oh, okay.
So maybe it's like that. Maybe this kid or guy... what do we want to say? The dreamer? The dreamer.
Yeah, the dreamer jumps back and forth between worlds.
Between worlds. But
yeah.
this is the first time, right? So we can set up a story where this guy... but he doesn't remember. Ooh, how about this? I got this idea.
All right.
Frick. He goes between worlds while dreaming. He goes to this fantastical... Frick. He goes to this fantastical world that he always thought was a dream world. He's actually... blah, 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 whatever, goes to a different real world like tangible fantasy fantastical world.
Yeah.
But nothing really has ever taken place of like great significance there that would show him that he's in a real actual world with real consequences. So this guy, his whole life has been, oh, I'm just dreaming, and everybody's dreams are this like this. But he is actually going to a real place. Like, do you remember when you were a kid and you kind of get like bumps and scrapes, and you like wouldn't remember how you got all of them?
Yeah.
Like, huh. So like we can explain that away. Like when he was a kid, he would go to this other world and he'd be running from vampires and lions and stuff and wraiths, and he'd get kind of bumped and cut up and bruised, but he always just attributed like, oh, I don't remember how I got these.
Yeah.
And stuff. So kind of his whole life he's been thinking like, oh, hey, like, this is what dreams are. And then this one time that something significant happens, he sort of realizes that that he's dreaming, but when the vampire bites him, it turns out he's been sort of displacing himself to a different universe.
Yeah.
But has actual real lasting effects in this real world, per se. So he wakes up and it turns out all that stuff's real, just in a different place that he can't get to. But now he has to deal with the very real logistics of being a vampire. Now, Ian, here's my question. Do we want this to be a book? In a book we can tell a lot more than this. If this is a movie, I feel like this is going to be pretty impactful.
I feel like it'd be a much better book, maybe even a series.
So, Ian, here's my question. Do you want to continue any stuff in the real world of him logistically dealing with being a vampire?
Well, so are we going to go back to, like, that's his first time going into that
No.
dream world? And,
He's
like,
been going...
each time's a different...
Yeah, he's been going to the dream world his whole life.
Yeah.
This is the first time that anything
Significant.
of significant consequence happens that he then has to deal with in his, what he thought was the only real world. So here,
Okay.
let's do this. Let's call this world where everything's normal and will function normal, let's just call that the world. And we'll call
I got
the
Earth,
other world.
Earth 2.
No, we're not doing some DC crap. How about the Upside Down?
The Upside. That's kind of a rip-off of...
How is it a ripoff? This, oh boy, Ian.
That's a rip-off of...
Stranger Things? It's not a
Stranger Things.
ripoff.
Yeah, the Upside Down.
No, it's a reference. Ian, that's like saying, have you heard of this band, Reliant K? They write this really good song. Like, well, you just ripped them off. No, I just told you about a good song. I just referenced a good show.
So we're not going to call it for the actual story. It wouldn't be called The Upside Down.
We're referring to it as the Upside Down to
okay.
distinguish between the two things.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
And we're referencing a good TV show that people should go watch.
All right, that's fair. Which season 2 actually is going to come out?
I'm freaking like Halloween, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pumped.
All right. So we got the world and we got the Upside Down.
Okay, your turn. Say a bunch of words now.
So this guy, he goes to this dream world. He's been going since he was a kid, and something significant happens that actually really affects him in the real world. So then up until this point, it never really, I feel like the story would never really tell his perspective of the real world. And then now, it might jump into like what he's dealing with now in the real world with what happened to him. And he obviously is going to be going back to the dream world. So it's going to be kind of...
A two-tone story.
Yeah, a two-tone story. Flipping back and forth a lot.
Which
and
also,
then,
if you read the Circle Trilogy by Ted Dekker, is something that Hunter does. Those are good books, dog. You should read Black.
All right. I've never read it.
So good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. This sounds like a cool idea. I don't really want to add anything because I don't want to mess it up. But I guess, to be fair, Matt did send it in.
Yeah, let's ruin it.
It's a really good story arc. Shoot. What if, like, what if that wasn't the only consequence that came back to? Like, what if these vampires and such also figured out a way into the real world? Or would you not want to do that? What would be your
I
thought
think
there?
that
Like, do you want to keep the real world only the real world and this?
and he's the
And
only
upside
person
down
going
is the-
between.
Yeah.
Yes, but I want. I think it'd be cool if we find a reason for it.
Okay.
Like, there's a reason that
What if
he goes to this other world, and there's a reason.
What if
to
his
everything.
dream world was supposed to be the real world originally, and it got messed up, and so there was a duplicate was created, and that's the real world he's in, and he has to figure out a way to fix and or abolish this dream world, which was the real world until it became messed up.
Okay, you're right. So here's what he has to do. Okay, so he's not the only person who travels between worlds. It turns
Okay.
out people have been doing this for a long time.
All right.
So he realizes, frick, I go to a real tangible place in the real world. In the world, he realizes, I go to a tangible place, the Upside Down, that actually exists. And he starts to realize, I can't be the only person who's done this. Like, there's no freaking way. But he hates it. Because he now realizes that it's not fun and cool and interesting, it's terrifying. There's wraiths and all kinds of scary bullcrap over there.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So he hates going. So he goes and learns that he starts to research the original creation of vampires and wraiths and things, and realizes that these writers and people who invented these things didn't so much create them as much as they also would travel to the Upside Down and saw them and wrote
Okay.
about them as fiction, even though they're real in this other place. And he then goes on a quest, because vampires are obviously more powerful than humans, right?
Yeah.
He goes on a quest to gain the abilities, so he gets bitten by a vampire and now he has vampire powers.
In the real world.
In the real world
Yeah.
and the dream world.
And the dream world.
And the Upside Down. So he goes and then he faces against a werewolf, and he becomes a vampire werewolf. And he gets all of these abilities, and he is essentially just trying to make himself so powerful that he can then find a way to destroy the Upside Down and only live here because he's scared of going there.
Okay.
So that we get like this fun,
So then,
he has to put himself in danger to gain more power in the Upside Down, so he has the ability to destroy it and not have to go back there.
what if you tied it together to where he couldn't destroy the Upside Down because it's a duplicate of the real world, and so you couldn't destroy it without destroying the other.
I think I got it better here.
All right. Shoot.
He gets werewolf powers, he gets vampire powers, he gets wraith powers, he gets all these things. And he finally destroys the Upside Down. And then comes back. But since everything has real lasting effects, all those things last
And
in
he's
the real world. So he's still a vampire, he's still a werewolf. So he starts to feed. He gets hungry and has to go suck the blood of a human. But he bites another person, they become a vampire themselves. He turns somebody in another world to where he destroys the Upside Down, but consequently
He
turns his
creates
world into the Upside Down.
That's interesting. And then now, what if you were to really take a twist, and
then somebody else wakes up.
No. Yeah. And so no. What if you take a twist, and this was all how this whole thing started? So he destroyed the Upside Down, he turned his world into the Upside Down, and then all of a sudden his world. What if that's how the original Upside Down got turned upside down? I don't know if I'm wording this right, but
it's just a big loop. People always try to do that, or time travel loop. He's done this several times.
What he did is what originally caused it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if you were to go back in time and do something and it changed, how am I trying to word this? Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. I think that'd be really interesting. Well, shoot, that's a great idea.
That was fun.
Matt, you should go write this as a book, or give us the rights to write it.
Don't let us write it, we'll ruin it.
I don't know, I like writing. I think I could do it, but no, I couldn't. Okay, so is that everything we want to say about it?
I'm good.
All right,
Do
cool.
we have a commercial break?
Yeah, let's take a commercial break.
Hey, my name is Marcus, and I'm here to say that I really want you to give us money in a major way. Okay, that's
Pretty
fine.
much it. All right. So for our second pitch, I rolled dice number 13, and actually 14, but we already did 14, so we go down a number.
Yeah, I messed up. I didn't update the Word doc.
Oh, that's okay. We'll just, whatever. Anyway, I think it's ironic. Again, the one that I drew was the one sent in by my mother.
Oh,
so.
Ian, you good boy.
Such a goody two-shoes. No, I don't know how that happened, but it's really short. It's like just a paragraph. It's kind of interesting.
Ian, read your small book like I had to.
An alternative reality game show. That's the first part. Based loosely on Let's Make a Deal, but instead of prizes, like traditional whatever, cars, money, it would be alternative realities, good or bad. Go. Riff off of it.
No, see, here's what you did. I read a small book and my throat hurts very badly. I said, Ian, say anything for like a second, and then you said, I don't know. Mark, what do you think?
No, I think it's short, and it's just like the glimpse of an idea, but I think it could have some potential as far as like I picture a government-controlled world such as like Hunger Games, and I wasn't a huge fan of Hunger Games, but you know how they force the people to play this game, and then so it'd be something like where people were chosen to come play this game, this game show thing.
Hey, Ian.
Okay, so here's the thing. So it was a way not to do another government conspiracy. The government, in order to and this is just an idea, my own thoughts, but like in order to control people and like figure out, these people can't go good together, these people go, anyway, every person that's ever born has to go into this game show. And then, depending on what they win, they go into a specific reality, good or bad. It can all vary depending on how they play the game.
All right, Ian,
That's just my
opinion. Here's my thoughts on it. We make it like a game show, right? So, you know how sometimes you sit down with your family and you say, hey, Drew Carey, what is the price? Are they right on the price? What is it? Hey, do they do a good job? Or if you're older, you say, hey, Bob Barker, what's the price?
Okay.
I don't know the names of anybody else.
I don't either,
Hey,
to be honest.
film it. I want to be a millionaire. What if we pitched this as a TV show game show, right? That is clearly fantastical and ridiculous, but there's no story to it, right? So
Okay, so you're saying like
what
real
I'm saying
game show,
is I go to my
fantastical
TV
and
I turn on CBS and there's a bunch of freaking crazy people who pretend in this fake fiction that they are playing Let's Make a Deal where there's these briefcases, and you'd be like, okay, frick, I don't actually know how to play Let's Make a Deal.
I don't either.
I've seen half of 2 different episodes. But I know you like pick briefcases and you don't know what's inside them, and the whole time somebody's like calling you. There's like the banker who wants you to not get a lot of money.
Yeah.
So like I think you like pick all the briefcases till you're down to 1, and if the last one that you don't pick, so like you want to pick the low amount. So you want to pick like there's like $100 that's gone. There's like $25 that's gone, and you want the last briefcase to be like the $1 million one. That's how the game works. The banker, the whole time, is calling and saying, hey, I'll give you this much money, and you just walk. But you get that money for sure. So, like, let's say I have 2 briefcases left. I have $100 and $1 million. and the banker says, hey, I'll give you
10 grand.
10 grand, right? You then have the choice, well, if I pick the $1 million one, then I have to leave the $100 from that last thing. Or I say, screw you, banker, hang up, and I can pick the $100. If I pick the $100 one, then I get $1 million. Or you can say, screw this is tense, I'm going to leave with 10 grand.
Yeah.
So what about this? I mean, it's obviously actors because it's fake, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But you line up, and every episode there's, let's say, 13 realities that are as fantastical and ridiculous and crazy and as bad and fun and great to where, like, there's like, this one's just a hellscape.
Okay.
You might get this one. But the deal is, you have to go live in the reality that you win. So there's always a good one, and there's always a bad one, and there's always stuff that's in between. But the whole time, there's also a banker who's calling and saying, hey, I'll let you go to this reality, which is kind of in the middle, but it's not going to be a hellscape, it's not going to be this. But we don't talk about it.
Okay.
There's no story behind it. Excuse me. You just turn on your TV, and there's this game show where they're acting like they're going to send people to other realities. That's
Okay.
how I see it.
I could get behind that. It's kind of a gimmick thing. I could get behind that. It's funny. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I'm done,
I don't either.
and I'm tired of talking.
Yeah, I think that was a good idea, though. I think both ideas were great. You can send in your own ideas to letmepitchthistoyou@gmail.com, and we'll try to do more episodes like this because people seem to like them.
Because people don't want to hear our stupid garbage ideas.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Who would, right?
For sure. So yeah, send in your ideas. Don't forget to vote at the same email address. Thank you, Tim Schoenfeld, for the theme song. Thank you, Matt, for Matt's Majestic Mind, or I still like
Nerd.
M and M. No, never mind. That's not what I came up with.
Now what about this? M&M and M?
That's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. M&M and M. Yeah. So anyway, this is the show. You got anything to sign off, Marcus?
Stay creative.
When others are
You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
You can follow us on Twitter, right?
A really good garbage name.
Frick, dog, I feel like trash.
Because you are trash.
Oh, got him! Minus 10 billion for your Nazi idea. There's a place off Ocean Avenue
Where I can't think of, I know there's a song.
sit and talk with you. We were both 16 and
and it
oh,
felt
frick.
all-
Hey, have you ever heard of this band called Yellow Card, Ian?